Hello and welcome to the Emanuel Echo, our school podcast about aspects of life here at Emanuel School. Emanuel Echo. Hello and welcome to our special edition of the Emanuel Echo, where we're going to be speaking to our new headmaster, Mr. Ravi Kothakota. Thank you very much to those of you who have listened to our previous episodes. I hope you've had the opportunity to enjoy our Black History Month episode with the Archer Group. But today we are going to be speaking to Mr. Kothakota, who is the new head of the school from September 2025, not quite there just yet. So as we always do, Ravi, can you tell me what your favourite thing is about Emanuel School?
Well, difficult to choose. I think I'd probably say it is the range of opportunities at the school and seeing the young people that come over the bridge each day really engage in those opportunities.
Very good. Excellent to hear. And of course, excellent to see as well. So the purpose of this is just for us to have a little bit of a chat. And I'm sure that people who are currently in the school and those who are thinking about joining the school will be keen to know a little bit more about you, about your career in teaching and the kinds of things that you'll be looking at in the first part of your tenure. So if you don't mind, just talking to us a little bit about your career in teaching and I suppose possibly the sorts of things in particular that brought you to work in schools.
Well, I think I'd probably call myself a bit of an accidental teacher. Never intended to be a teacher. Probably left university and education and thought, no, I certainly don't want to become a teacher. And then fell into it. I was doing a number of things. I was actually working as an actor at one point, a lot of stage work, a little bit of TV and film, but mostly stage work. And then was looking at actually what did the future look like and ended up actually going to do a bit of observation in a school that's quite close to here and went back quite regularly, week after week, and in fact got invited back kind of week after week. And then a rather bizarre thing happened. It sort of finished at sort of the Christmas time one year. And then in the new year, I got a call from the head of the drama department there saying, we've got a bit of a situation in which a teacher is unfortunately very unwell and we're not sure that she is going to return for the end of the year. We would be interested in you coming in and actually taking over some of her classes. And that's how it all began. Literally about 2 weeks later, on a Monday morning, I turned up and I was presented as someone to come in and help support sort of drama within the school. And that was a short-term contract. And that led to them saying, look, do you want to stay on? And actually at the time I was doing a couple of other things, stayed on part-time. And then after that, they said, well, look, you're doing really well here. Would you like to do your training here? And then I was hooked. And then after that, I never really turned back and found that I absolutely loved being in the classroom and that element of connection and day-to-day working with young people and really inspiring them and helping them to achieve their best. And particularly in a subject that I loved, like drama, was just amazing. And it's given me a career that I initially didn't want, but actually have found that I've absolutely loved. So that was it. And then I was at my previous school, another independent school, Hampton School, for a number of years. And through my time there, found I really had an enjoyment and possibly a little bit of a flair for the pastoral side of things. Ended up becoming an assistant head of year and then a head of year. Also coached a lot of sport when I was there, rugby, cricket, athletics, was heavily involved. And I think that probably gave me the sense of really what I feel an education should look like. It is not just in the classroom. That's an incredibly important part of what we do day to day, but all of those opportunities outside of the classroom, and that's for every pupil that comes to this school. I really want them to thrive in that particular area. So being involved in as many things, I taught mindfulness at my previous school as well, and that was a really important thing pastorally for me personally, but also for the pupils there, and I could see the value in those sorts of techniques and developed as I went along, finished up as a head of year, and then my next step about 6 years ago was joining Emanuel as deputy head pastoral, as it was then, and deputy head pupils as we know it now, and then have just gone from there and really enjoyed, I think, my role in what the school's achieved over the last 5, 6, 7 years.
Brilliant. That's really interesting to know. An accidental teacher.
Accidental.
That's going to be a sort of title of your autobiography at some point. And so, yeah, just thinking, you've been here for 6 years and you've done lots of different things, drama teacher, running rugby, mindfulness, lots of very, very clever, very, very careful pastoral and safeguarding matters that you've been leading on. How would you characterise your achievements in your current role as Deputy Head?
I like to think 2 words. I think we have been very effective and we have become very effective in our pastoral care. I think we've got a great structure and more importantly, we've just got great staff in place. And I like to think that I've had a role in making sure that we have that structure and then each child can feel supported within the school. And secondly, I think we've been quite innovative. I think if you look at some of the work that we've done with digital wellbeing, even actually some of the mindfulness that we have been doing, if you look at that life education program and how that's evolved, and that's not just down to me, that's down to the staff that have been running those particular initiatives. We really have something that is quite progressive. And then if you look at the area of pupil voice and what we do with our pastoral surveys, an amazing engine of change. I think that's something that's a really unique feature of the school, is that drive of the pupils, that element of pupil voice, of the pupils really wanting to improve the school day to day and in the sort of community that we are. There are a number of areas there, but I think hopefully pastorally people will see that we are in a good place.
That's really good. I mean, certainly whenever we're meeting with pupils here in the Echo, they always talk about how happy they are and how hard the staff work to make sure that everything is in place for them that they would like. Exciting times. The next move on, not an accidental head. You actually applied for that role. So I suppose initially, what is it that drew you to make that application? Why do you want to become a headmaster?
I think seeing the transition that school's made over the last 6 years since I've been here, and obviously it predates me when Mr. Milne arrived, the thing that has given me greatest pleasure in my role is, I think, seeing the school get better and seeing the opportunities for the pupils and the staff and even the parents as well improve year on year. I actually said this at interview. I said, they said, what gives you most pleasure about what you've done? I said, it's almost in September each year coming into school and going, wow, it's just got that little bit better, hasn't it, in some area? And that might be really slight or minor, and sometimes you forget. It's very easy to forget that where we started and where we've got to now. And that's not to say that the school was a poor school before or anything of that sort. I mean, it was a fantastic place with an incredible sort of character and ethos. But clearly there have been improvements as well that have happened, whether it's in the co-curricular area, whether it's in the academic areas, or even the outreach work that we do. And I think every year we do something that little bit better, or we do it that little bit differently. Being able to say that actually you've played a role in that as deputy head, or certainly as head, I think that's really exciting. And I think probably one of the things that excites me as well is that breadth of experience as well. I've had 6 years doing certain areas within the school, and those have been brilliant, but I think it's quite exciting to think about the other areas which perhaps I've had less influence over now, and just expanding that sphere of influence.
Are there any sort of key areas of focus do you think you'll be thinking about as you move into the role and when you first start the role?
Look, I think the school's in a really good place. So I don't think we're looking at root and branch change. I don't think there's anything particularly sweeping that's about to happen. I think I'm a competitive person. I want the school to get better. I want the school to get better for everyone. And that's the pupils, that's parents, and that's also the staff as well. So I think there are some exciting things that will probably happen, in due course, whether those are sort of new facilities and new builds and new opportunities that we can explore that those bring. But really it is business as usual. I think that's probably one of the things that I can hopefully certainly bring to the role, having been here for a number of years. But I think I suppose the 4 really key things that I will always go back to in terms of my values will be about all of us being aspirational, all of us showing a degree of courage as well in what we do, whether that's a pupil arriving at the school and just trying as many things as they can, or courage to do different things within our classroom teaching, a sense of connection. And I keep coming back to that word because I think it's so important, and I think all of the work that we've done around smartphones and the stance that we've taken there, because it all comes back to connection. The core sort of, I suppose, raison d'etre within school is about creating connection, whether that's between teacher and pupil and parent, and teacher and parent as well. And that sense of empathy, as well. I think us understanding each other, that's really the sign of a really progressive and a really kind and an open community, which is something I think I felt quite tangibly when I came here for interview all those years ago, actually the sort of community it is. And I really want to ensure that continues.
So many families and pupils who are in the school already will know you well from your work on the rugby field and your great involvement and influence over sports. But it'd be really interesting just to kind of hear a little bit more from you about your approach and your attitude towards the co-curricular life of Pupils at Emanuel.
Well, I think, as I said, the co-curricular is probably what I live for most within school. I do love sport. I've been heavily involved in rugby in my time in teaching, and currently coach, I think, the under-16As, who are having a fine season, so to speak. The reason I love being involved in sport, and actually it's very analogous with drama as well, they're both about performance. They're both about preparing for something and that sort of end product, whether it's on stage or whether it's on the pitch on a Saturday. And so I think I get the same energy from both of those activities. So absolutely love doing that. And one of the things I really love about Emanuel is the fact that there are so many different sports going on. If you go to a lot of schools, you will find that there are 2 or 3 sports that they do very well, and then there are other sports that they don't do so well. But actually our efforts to try and do quite a large number of sports very well across the year, I think is really one of the features of the school, and it really gives the opportunity for any young person to become a good games player. I think that's quite important, and pick up a number of different skills. So I think that is something I'm really looking forward to as head, is just sort of being able to get into sort of even more of those sports and being involved, not necessarily coaching, but certainly on the sidelines of seeing as many Emanuel pupils involved in sport as possible. And of course the drama side of things and the music side of things as well. I've got a long history of directing plays, obviously sadly not being able to do so much of it since I've been here, although have made an appearance obviously in the Year 6 pantomime. I believe there may be another one coming up as well, the Year 6 pantomime appearance. So again, I suppose my attitude has always been just get involved, because the best bits of school tend to be those bits that sort of just where things come together, whether that's, as I said, on the sports field or on the stage or in the rehearsal room, and they're lovely. So I think, as head, the opportunity to see as many of those things as possible is really exciting.
Well, I think I can speak on behalf of all of the pupils and staff when I say we'd very much like to see you continuing your role in the Year 6 pantomime. I think that should be one of the priorities in your new position.
Absolutely, yes. It's certainly the legacy that maybe that I could leave to the school.
Let's imagine 5 years down the line. Do you think the school will be different then? What kinds of things will be going on then in 5 years' time that aren't here now, I suppose?
I suspect there might be the odd bit of development on the school site and maybe even in our off-site facility. So I think that will be exciting to see how that progresses. Very much my intention is that we continue to get stronger in all of the areas we do, whether that's in the co-curricular area, whether it's in our drama and music, whether it's in our sport. And I think expanding those repertoires and being courageous, as I said, to try different things and really expose our pupils to different opportunities. Obviously, there are sort of technological things that I think we will have to be mindful of in terms of AI and in terms of what the classroom of the future potentially looks like. But as I said, it still will always come back, for me, it will come back to that core business of connection and that face-to-face human contact, because that's what I think is about, that is the vibrant part of being in a school. It's why I've always loved being in a school, is because you have all of these connections. You talk to me about any other career in which you can go through and you can probably have said hello or nodded at sort of another 300, 400 people within a day who are all part of the same community. That doesn't really exist elsewhere. So look, I think maintaining the DNA of the school is going to be really important. I don't think you will see a sort of huge difference in that sense. We will still continue to be aspirational in all those areas, in terms of the academic side of things, in terms of our sport, in terms of our music, our drama, and everything in which we do. And I think as well, that outreach piece, that social conscience that the school has, will become ever more important in what we do. And I think I'm very clear as head that I want pupils that come to the school that recognise the chance of being at Emanuel as transformational, but also the opportunity to be transformational in the local area, whether it's through the outreach work that they do or whether it's the connections that they build within school. But we will make that local community better, and I want the school to be renowned for the impact that it has in that local area.
Thank you very much indeed, Ravi, for being with us today on the Echo. It's been really excellent to hear from you and to think a little bit about how life will be at Emanuel School from September 2025. Congratulations again, and all the best in your preparation over the next couple of terms. And I'm really looking forward to working with you as my boss from September 2025. Thank you for everyone who's been able to tune in today, and I look forward to speaking to you again on our next episode.